Oh, good God, y'all. All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Actually Comics. My name is Tristan, and I'm joined today by Bob. Hello, Bob.
Hi.
I'm going to go to your camera.
There it is.
I
was waiting for you to go to my camera.
I'm so sorry. I'm just fucking dead. And you can tell I look like I just rolled out of bed, and I have the fucking weirdest hair. Jesus.
That cool locust on your shirt.
What is going on? Okay, that's weird.
It is
all right,
tall.
Sorry, everybody.
Taller than typical. Is it like kind of hat? Is it shaped by hat?
It is shaped by hat. I've been wearing... That made it way worse. I definitely look like current day Robert Smith today.
Nice.
That's not good. Anyway.
You could look like I look any given day, which is with nothing.
Well, either way. Anyhow, yeah, comic books are out today, and we're going to talk about them because that's what we do here on this podcast that comes from Coast City Comics, where we are sitting currently at this moment. It's a comic shop. It's a place where you can purchase comics.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that exist still for the time being in this world. We still have comic shops, so if you are into that, maybe you should support them and maybe support this one specifically because we're better than the other ones. I'm not sure why. I can't explain why. Maybe because we release comics, which you'll find out later.
It's a je ne sais quoi.
It also might be that. It might be our je ne sais quoi. All right. You know what, Bob? You should turn down your light a little bit. You're a little reflecty. Sorry. I'm being terrible about this. There you go. Beautiful. Anyhow, today, Action Comics is a comic book that is being put out.
An annual issue of Action Comics. It's basically like they decided they wanted to do something else, so they had one issue to tie up all of the storylines. And they did it pretty well.
Well, pretty well is as good as I can expect.
I mean, as well as you can, and like, hey, you have 2 months to wrap up the entirety of your storylines. And they did it, and they got an annual, and they did it.
Here's one that I'm surprised by. I do not read this, but I'm surprised because people are reading it. And it started out and no one cared about this book, but the fact is that people started realizing that this was the only place they could go to get their Yara Flor, I think was what I heard on the internet. The internet bandwidth was basically like, fuck, well, we're not going to get another Yara Flor series, so I guess we'll support Amazon's Attack.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
I hear it's good.
Easily as good as the regular Wonder Woman book. As much as any of this stuff that's going on, some of the plot lines at DC are a little like, just like, because we said so, that's why. And this is one of them. And I guess it's like because Tom King said so or whatever. But it's fine. It's an enjoyable comic book. It has Yara Flor, it has Mary Marvel and her weird bunny that teleports.
I do love a good teleporting bunny.
Yeah.
Army of Darkness, but this time it's forever.
Mm-hmm.
This is an Army of Darkness series. I'm not reading it. I kind of checked out of like reading the comic adaptations of these. Turns out that really the charm is in the actors and the directing. For me in the Army of Darkness world, but in this instance, there is a funny thing because you have the evil Ash that has the crazy skull helmet, and that version of him looks exactly like, I can't remember which one of the members of GWAR he looks like. Maybe Balsac. It's one of them. He looks exactly like him.
Nice.
So just something about the way that they draw him, it kind of just. I don't know. I like that there's a GWAR thing going on.
Nice.
That makes me happy. Avengers Incorporated.
I liked it.
I love this book.
I gotta say honestly, like I'm a little ashamed with myself that I did not catch the thing that was just so clearly, almost obviously, like where it was going, and I was like not even close to guessing it. Like. So many clues, so much like, I mean, I'm sure that there was someone that was like, how could you think it was anything but this? But like, I was like, okay. I mean, I really like this comic. It's great. I'm mad at myself that I didn't even like consider the possibility of who the guy is.
That this is a Mad About You crossover and that's Paul Reiser.
That's correct.
I knew it.
Spoilers.
Sorry.
I genuinely don't want to give it away in case you,
absolutely.
me, did not pick up on any of the clues.
I didn't pick up on anything. I think I was going to ask you because I'm like, I don't know, because I didn't read this one.
Yeah.
Because I had to...
You find out who the guy is in this one, and I am ashamed of myself.
It's the Joker. Speaking of the Joker, Batman Brave and the Bold #8.
It has this Wild Dog thing by Kyle Starks that's so good.
I love that
it's
they're
where
doing
it's
Kyle
worth.
Starks stuff.
Yeah, I wish it was a miniseries. I wish it was like a Peacemaker miniseries like that one they did. But this is where you get it, and it's fine.
I'm so disappointed in the sales of Peacemaker. I'm so disappointed that book did not do the numbers that it deserved.
I think that we're learning that the show audience does not translate to a comics audience.
They don't read comics. So that's
and yet
the
they continually try to make the comics more like the show, which is what they did with that Avengers Inc. with Hank Pym being like, what's his name? Michael Douglas now. It's like he's old now.
Yeah. I mean,
whatever.
Sure, I definitely see that there's a lot of like Disney influence on the comics and all that, but I also think that that's kind of the only way to go, is to have Hank Pym be old at this point.
Yeah,
it seems like that's if you're going to have like 6 further generations, you can't just have him be young forever. If they're like,
no, I know,
we're down to his great grandkids or whatever at this point.
Yeah. Well, and now at this point, Scott Lang is just so clearly like the version that is known, so why would it be? It kind of has to be that way.
Yeah. Who was Scott Lang wasn't Ant-Man in? Was the Irredeemable Ant-Man, was that Scott Lang?
No, but he's in this Avengers Inc. comic.
Which one was Irredeemable?
His name is something O'Grady, and he is
something insulting to the Irish.
He was a SHIELD agent, and he stole the Ant-Man suit. And he was just a dick. And I think it might have been Kirkman.
It was a Kirkman. It was a Kirkman book. I remember it because when that came out, that was the thing where I was like, well, this is Ant-Man. This is the Ant-Man you need to go with. This is the greatest story that I've read for an Ant-Man comic ever. Why isn't this what we're doing?
I have to say, merging Hank Pym with Scourge and having him shoot ants from his gun into people's brains is not a thing I would have expected, and is surprisingly actually pretty cool to have the justices served, but it's just literally an ant saying it, and then the guy dies. Is pretty cool. It was not on my 2023 bingo.
That's a pretty good one. I like it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's interesting.
Bratman Brave and the Broad.
Bratman Brave.
Bratman Brave and the Broad. We also have Bratman Beyond Brave and the Broad. That's good. We've got Batman Year One Part 4. And we've got Batman Silent Night.
Ties it up with a neat little bow.
Sure does.
Like a present, like a nice Christmas present.
There were a couple of great moments in this. I really liked the Blue Beetle moment in this, which I was like, they literally say, "Hey, you forgot this thing," and I was like, "Yeah, I did forget that thing." Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess it's
funny.
Don't remember where that came from.
We watched last night. We watched Rare Exports, and
God, I love that movie.
That's one of my top Christmas movies of all time. And Allie hadn't seen it, and then we watched Krampus because that was one that she likes that I hadn't seen. I did not think it was very good. It was fun, but it was pretty bad.
It's a schlock movie that's made with a budget, which
I
love.
Like a huge budget. It has like a crazy cast.
It's got a great cast, and it's got
Champ Kind. It's got Adam Scott.
Adam Scott.
It's got what's her name from Hereditary.
I gotta watch it again. Oh, she's so fucking good.
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
I love her.
I can't think of her name.
Can't either, but I do love her, and I don't know. I like Krampus. It's got that bleak ending that's kind of a bummer.
It's definitely. I mean, but if they had ended it the way before it got to the bleak part, where I was like, if it ends here, like, boo, 2 thumbs down, and then even though I knew I wouldn't like what happened, I'm glad that it did happen because. Anyway, whatever. We're not here to talk about Krampus.
We're not here to talk about Krampus, but
that one part where he's jumping around the roofs is pretty cool, though.
It is pretty cool.
It's scary.
I was going to recommend another movie, but I can't think of the name of it. It's the fucking Home Alone horror movie that was made in Sweden. That the little kid is repelling invaders, and I literally cannot think of it.
I know not it.
Oh, God damn it. If I think of it, I'll recommend it. But Black Panther #7 is out. people buy this when
Yeah.
there's a new character
Oh, cool.
because they think they can resell it, and they are wrong. Book of Butcher is from the Somebody's Killing Them Children.
Oh, yeah. I saw what that was and was like, oh, I don't read this book, so I didn't read it.
Grr. There's some creepy alligators on the cover, and I like it.
Yep. Looks as a quality put together book.
So is Captain Marvel, honestly. Again, I like Captain Marvel. It's not like every time I read it, I'm glad I did. It's just Captain Marvel's just one of those characters I don't care that much about. So it's weird that I constantly read it, but I do enjoy it when I get it. And another one that is another surprise for me that I enjoy is Carnage. I think this Carnage series is about as good as you're ever going to get for a fucking Carnage story, personally.
Yep. It was, I definitely would agree with that.
I'm going to give you Cyborg.
Cyborg, it was fine. I ended up not really being super into this comic. It was fine. If you're really into Cyborg, it gave you a Cyborg comic to read and a trade paperback to put on your shelf eventually.
What about these deadly hams of Kung Fu?
It's part of that gang war thing. Shang-Chi and the gang war story.
Shang-Chi and the Gang War. Shang-Chi and the Gang War.
Do.
I love that Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
They're solving mysteries, driving around in a van. Shang-Chi and the Gang War. Detective Comics, number 1080.
I had to be honest with myself that I am just really not enjoying this comic, and I dropped it.
Really?
I don't
what?
like it. I don't. It's just like, what's happening? Tell me what's happening in this comic.
I don't know. I didn't read it.
Well, I mean, in any of them, in the whole storyline, it's been going on for like fucking 3 months. It's just like they're. I don't know.
Pretty.
We have a differing thing for art style, so it's definitely like a thing for you. But like, I find it impossible to figure out.
So funny. I love this fucking.
And maybe
art.
I'll go and sit with it or have some moment with it where like kind of like how Tinian's run where I was like not super into that and then like I revisited it afterwards and I was like, this is actually really fucking good.
So funny that you
maybe
feel
it's
that way.
but like it's not
like
it's
art-wise,
not it's too supernatural. I'm just like not.
No, I get it. Okay,
and especially
so
now
it's a
that it's
specific
like
feeling because I love.
Well, and I don't love the
supernatural.
art. The art's too like Vertigo for me.
See, I love it. It's very Vertigo.
Yeah. I mean, it's for someone. It's
that's
not for
really
me.
funny because I was like, man, I love how Vertigo this artwork is, and then you were like, I hate this. It's very Vertigo. Anyway,
I
get
do.
it.
I like Vertigo. I just don't always like it for
I don't wanna
Batman.
jump
You know,
in.
when Jock was doing the Black Mirror storyline, I was really into that, and that was very much
was
similar
pretty
sort
Vertigo-y.
of art to this. So it's really just the storyline being like way supernatural and just kind of like not grabbing me.
Well,
I'm sure I'll be back.
if you want something to grab you, what about a Dracula?
It's good. This comic is good. If
comic
you
is-
like the story of Dracula, it's here it is again.
Here it is. Here's that story. It's a Dracula, and this Dracula giving you a real boogans on the cover.
Yeah,
Boogity, boogity, boogity. I love that.
yeah.
Love that look.
And it is literally just the Universal Studios Dracula story.
Sure is.
By Tinian, right? Is
Yeah.
it by Tinian? Yeah. I like that guy.
I mean, it is exactly the story, but it's also like I feel like it's adding something new to it. I feel like it's coming from an angle that is different enough that I like it.
Yeah.
That's all. Duke.
I like Duke. I did not purchase Duke, but I like it. I love Tom Riley. I like what they're doing with the storyline, and I like what they're specifically doing with Duke.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's a good quality comic book, and it's probably going to sell pretty well.
Yep. I think it's a strange book, but I think it's. I mean, Josh Williamson. I'm always going to follow, so I like him a lot.
He's hit or miss for me, and this
He's
one was
on
just
my-
like
he's
I don't
on
know.
my-
I
I'll
just
always check it out. Sometimes I do dislike what he's doing, but he's one of those writers that he's good way more than he's bad for me.
nice.
Like,
Yeah.
I usually enjoy what he does.
Yep. No,
And,
it was cool, and I love the artwork. It's absolutely great, and I like how it's like a shared universe with Transformers and GI
Yep.
Joe, and I like kind of like a Square One redoing of, and I love the characters who showed up at the end because they're like there's like literally like 2 GI Joes that I will be all about, and that's basically Snake Eyes and Stalker.
Yes. I mean, I'm I was really excited about the other book because I'm really excited about the Dreadnoks whenever they show
Oh,
up.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
like
yeah.
the
Oh, and I
fact that
should
they're
say
getting,
only one of those two characters I mentioned showed up at the end
yeah,
of this comic, so it's not a spoiler totally.
they're getting a bunch of Dreadnought stuff going on in this series. I think they know that they were a hidden gem of the last series.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
nobody was giving enough attention to. They're sort of the Star Wars bounty hunters of the GI Joe universe.
I feel like they're
think.
kind of like the, if done right, maybe like a little more Mad Max
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
Like,
Yeah. That's exactly what they're going for. I will say that I've always felt uncomfortable with a blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy named Duke, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
It's,
they kind of like
there's a David Duke angle to this character that I'm like, every time I'm like, I mean, obviously that's not what they did, but
he's
it's
definitely
weird.
they definitely give him a kind of rebel, no, not rebel like Southern
right.
rebel, but like a kind of like, it's a different take on.
Yep.
And I think I like the idea of like, hopefully what it means is that the Joes are going to be like kind of not just like a elite government task force, but in fact like a kind of sort of guerrilla like world savers kind of thing.
I mean, that's the only way to go with the series. In this, regardless of,
without it being just like what it already was again.
I mean, discard politics, discard anything else in the world, and only talk financial issues. Talk about like trying to make a brand that makes money. Making something that doesn't appeal to the Chinese market is a no-go in an international franchise. You need to do something that the Chinese are going to get on board with, because the last 10 blockbuster films made like 20% in the US and then 70 in China. So it's like, when you're making a Mission Impossible or any of that kind of shit, you've got to have international money.
Nice.
So it only makes sense financially, and also I just prefer it, but financially I can see why they're going that direction. Same thing with Fortune Feimster, famous comedian. No, sorry, it's Dungeons and Dragons Fortune Finder. I apologize. Fortune Feimster is a whole different person. Dungeons and Dragons, not a comic book that anyone cares about. I just experimented with it because I was going to see if anyone would buy it. They don't. Dwellings, a comic book that people should buy. I think they actually do, and there's good reason for it. It's fucking awesome.
It's awesome. I haven't gotten my 6th issue yet in the mail that I kickstarted. So this one having that issue in it, kind of. I was like, okay, like I can't really go too deep into it, but this is the best horror comic that exists on the stands.
I do love Pester the Clown.
Yeah, it's really, really good, and even if the art style is like, oh my god, like you have to experience it. It is definitely the best horror book on the stands, in my opinion.
Well, I will tell you that another book that is on the stands as well is a thing called Edenwood. You're probably not reading it for the story. You're probably reading it for the artwork, because it's Tony Daniel.
Tony Daniel's book.
And Tony Daniel does good art, if you like Tony Daniel. And
my name's Tony Daniel. It's good art.
I do good art, and I don't think that he's a terribly great storyteller, but he's a good visual storyteller. So whatever
I'm sure it's fine.
His other stuff is, he makes up for with his visual acumen.
Yeah.
Dragon Tooth Expanse. Nobody knows what it is here. But people who play video games or watch TV or whatever the fuck it is, I don't know, some sort of interactive roller coaster ride, maybe. I don't know.
The Expanse, I believe, is a TV show.
I think it's a roller coaster.
Oh, okay, sure. I don't fucking know. I'm not gonna fight you.
The Flash #4. Is
Is
that a roller coaster?
Probably.
It's a roller coaster ride of emotion.
This is one that I have not dropped, and I'm not 100% sure why, because I kind of don't like. It's well put together, but I don't like what they're doing. Like, I don't like I'm conflicted. This one I liked better than the last one, which I was like, I think I'm going to drop this book, and then this one I was like, okay, like, characters I like are showing up. There's stuff, but it's just kind of like the whole plot seems to be that someone has turned the Speed Force into a drug, and then I'm just kind of like, well, Mike Barron had the speed drug thing with the Soyuz guys in his early run. It's like, and I don't like it when it feels like the people making it haven't read the comics.
Yep.
You know this about me. And I just like, if it's like, okay, like, so what are you going to do differently with it? I think this one is too Vertigo for its own good as well, but I am still reading it for at least for now.
What about this Ghost Rider?
It's the final issue before some new Ghost Rider comes along, according to the final page of it.
Until something better comes along.
Yeah.
Supersized giant superstars of Super Fantastic Four. The Thing versus the Hulk. Punchity, 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 punchity.
It's pretty funny because what happens is they switch brains and the Hulk is in the Thing's body. So it's like basically the Thing is running around doing the stuff the Hulk normally does.
I like it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was enjoyable to flip through.
Green Arrow, as I've said a million times, I love this comic.
Yeah, it's great. I do. This one's cool. Like they bring back like a lot of the like dopey shit from the past. That like the car, the plane. Like he's going full like the shit that Batman doesn't do anymore now.
Yes.
Now that Batman's a poor schlub who doesn't have any money. Like now Green Arrow has all the shit. There's like a part where he's like flying his aeroplane talking to Wonder Woman in her invisible jet. This is like literally like he's back and he's like, where's the Justice League? And the Justice League's trying to explain to him why there isn't a Justice League, which is, as far as I can tell, and I think that if anyone would know, it would be me, the first time since the Dark Crisis that it's even been addressed why there isn't a Justice League.
Oh,
like
interesting.
no one is like
Okay.
kind of talking about it. They're all just like the Titans are the new Justice League, and no one's really explaining why the Justice League isn't the
Okay.
Justice League, and they kind of get into it in this one. So it was cool.
I like it, and I'm really glad that people are finally getting on board with it. Like
Nice.
it was one that like was not selling and now is like
Oh, good.
picking up. It's like picking up steam, which is an odd thing. Like it's
That's cool.
very random. It's a very unheard of concept to have a book start selling this far into its run.
Well, I think when it was originally launched, it was launched as a miniseries, so there was probably less
Fair.
like, and now it's like, oh, it might continue.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
maybe people are like
Yep. Fair.
getting into it.
Alan Scott, Green Lantern #3.
I don't know, man. This Golden Age Red Lantern shit that's going on, it's not moving me.
Fair.
And it's like literally the full plot of 2 comic books this week.
Including Harley Quinn.
Oh, Harley Quinn. The backup in that has art by Leo Max, and I wanted to buy it so bad. It's like Harley Quinn as Indiana Jones with Croc, and it's amazing. The art's really, really, really good, but I just don't care
Whoa.
about this multiverse shit that's going on and it's like 3/4 of it is
so
just
good.
something that's like, yeah, that second story is wicked cool.
My God, that art
I
is
love
so
Leo
good.
Max. Like Leo Max
Same.
could draw virtually. He's like a buy on site for me. He's like
Oh my God.
I love it.
That's
I love it.
so good.
I want a collection of just the backups
I
of this
agree.
because there's been some really, really good ones that I've been like super tempted
so
by,
weird,
but
where
I
it's
just
like the main story is not good, and then the like,
it's just dumb. It's just like, I don't know. Like if I want a Harley Quinn comic, I'm not like interested in her traipsing around the multiverse. It's just like, it's not like where I go for that story. Like,
right.
and these backups are just like amazing. Like
These days, there's no place I want to go for that story.
and I'm to be multiverse averse.
I think I am also multiverse averse. Justice Society of America.
Hey, did you want to know more about Red Lanterns? Because
I sure did.
they're in here. This is a book that's like kind of like
Did they magically barf out of their out their hearts?
No, I'm just like, okay, this guy has jumped ship completely. That he's not going to finish out these storylines. So what's the fuck? They literally like he might as well when they made that announcement that they're gonna do exclusive non-DC stuff. Like they basically just like executed this book. Like why? Like also I just don't like. Why does there need to be 2 Huntresses? Why it's all just like his personal shit that he wants to do, and then now he's bailing. So like, what's the fucking point?
Well,
Also, it's like 14 months late.
and also, but I mean, when he finally comes back because Ghost, whatever the fuck it is, fails, it'll be interesting because man, that I read that thing. They sent me the PDF of that, and I was like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure like there's some
If
very
there are people who are going to care. I hope so.
some quality people, and they'll probably ink some Hollywood paper deals, and they'll probably like think
sure.
it's like a big thing, and then it'll just like the comics will fizzle, and the movies will be like things that maybe people like or don't. I don't know. Whatever. It's good quality people. I just like it's a bummer that they. I don't have a bummer, I guess. It's just like it was nice in the past when people of that caliber worked for the characters that, these cool characters, but the corporate deal of Marvel and DC has really like not done right by so many of those people for so long that like why would they stay? And I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I just JSA now to me is just like why bother reading this? It's like, and also I just don't like Red Lanterns in general. I don't like adding more Red Lanterns to the mix is not going to make me like them better.
Well, the fact of the matter is that the best lantern that there is Dexter, so you're wrong. Anyway,
Dexter is great, but he doesn't have to be a Red Lantern. He could be any kind of lantern.
No, he has to be a Red Lantern because he's so fucking pissed.
Yeah, he does have a sad origin.
He has such a sad origin story, and he's so fucking angry. And
he could be a Yellow Lantern. Now Sinestro is a Red Lantern.
I still think the only thing that justified that whole like Rainbow Lantern Corps is the Avarice Lantern was Larfleeze and whatever his little gross Globulus, his or whatever his name was. He had a weird little bubble buddy that was like a construct that he'd made who was his only friend because he wouldn't steal from him.
I don't remember that.
Well, basically the idea is
I remember Larfleeze, but
Larfleeze, the whole thing was that Orange is the Avarice Lantern, so it was greed, and so only one person could have the ring because they would kill everyone else who tried to get. So the most greedy character in the entire DC universe winds up with the ring, which is such a great concept. I don't know. I thought that was clever.
Oh yeah, no, there were aspects of that time where it was kind of a big deal, but now it's just confusing.
It's confusing. We've got Marvel Superheroes Battle World.
It's like, what if Daredevil and Iceman showed up to Secret Wars? It's kind of what this comic is.
They were in Secret Wars. I remember very clearly they had those shields that would flicker back and forth, and you could see.
Well, they weren't in the series.
They were in the toys.
Yeah,
matters.
So, and actually, this series is very much about those shields.
I think it's all about. I think the whole point of this was to explain
the
what
other
those
characters.
Stupid fucking shields from the toys were.
Interesting. I don't remember an Iceman figure, but I guess there was one.
Oh, there might not. You know what? I think there was.
I do remember a Daredevil one because I remember my dog ate it.
One.
My dog chewed his legs off. He always chewed the arms and legs off of the Secret Wars figures.
They were so chewy. They
were that
rubbery. They were like dog toy material.
Yeah, exactly.
They felt like a destructible nylon.
My black costume Spider-Man, my red costume Spider-Man, like every single one of them got beat. Like my dog would just like go into my toy bucket. I had like a 5-gallon bucket of action figures, and he would just go into it and take those ones.
I will tell you, the number of those figures, like when we get like full like childhood toy collections. Every time we get those in, they've got the legs chewed off. So funny. It's kind of a common thing. Stubbs. Miles Morales, Spider-Man.
It's also part of this gang war thing. It's fine.
Well, this is about monsters having a bash. It is a Monster Bash magazine. These are awesome. Yeah. They're always really fun.
I flipped through them. They're pretty cool. Some cool stuff in there. Articles,
pictures, articles, all the stuff.
Sharticles.
Sharticles, the articles about Shardik the bear, and his shitting problem. The Penguin #5.
Apparently, this is like the best comic in the world. I've read so many people rave about how good this Penguin comic is.
I'm just gonna.
I'll take their word for it.
I don't believe them.
I mean, I believe that people like it. I don't like it myself. Whatever.
I can't imagine. But I will say,
if you like a 9-panel grid with a lot of caption boxes,
I mean, that's definitely what they're doing. But I will say that there was a Penguin. The last time they did a Penguin miniseries, that was one of my favorite villain offshoot series, and I can't remember even what it was. I can't remember what the subtitle was, but that was like the first time I'd ever seen the Penguin and gone, "Oh, I get it now. Like I understand what the purpose of this character is in the Batman canon. Why you need a Penguin who is just this." He's obviously not a threat in any way, but they just made him into this character who was so ruthless and had so many. He had cast such a wide web over the city that he was untouchable even by Batman in that series, and it was like, oh, I get it. That's kind of cool.
Nice, yeah,
So
that's cool.
I like that. But here is
No, apparently, but this Tom King Penguin comic is very good.
really wow,
Yeah.
crazy. Power Girl reenacting that scene from Superman 3 that scarred me as a child.
Which scene?
The one where Richard Pryor gets taken over by machines.
Oh yeah, I will say actually I really like the Power Girl series. It's really fun, and one of the reasons why I like it is the supporting cast is really good. I'm super into Omen and like what they're doing with her, and like the fact that they hang out and are buddies, and Streaky the Super Cat, and like it's really great. There's definitely like she loses an eye in this too. It's weird. Like that machine when they yank the machine out of her, it's like she loses her eye.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
pretty like it's actually pretty funny. She like wraps her face up and she's like, "Well, I always wanted to be a pirate." I mean, that's a pretty nonchalant reaction to having your eyeball ripped out of your skull. But
listen, I know I would be terrified and horrified if I had to lose an eye. But I will say that there's always been a part of me that's been like, fucking eye patch would be cool. I have a friend who lost an eye, and the fact that he doesn't wear a fucking eye patch all the time pisses me off to no end. Jonesy, if you're listening, get a
I haven't seen him
eye
since he lost
patch.
his eye.
Jesus Christ.
God, also
Dude.
don't try to stop shoplifters.
Also that, but I mean, no, he's doing great.
Yeah,
I
that's
see him
good.
all the time.
He's great. I used to work with him.
Yeah, he's
He's
awesome
the reason
dude.
I'm called the whole Bob Bizarro. That came from him.
That's awesome.
He made it up. I had a Bizarro shirt I used to wear all the time, and he used to call me Bob Bizarro.
That's awesome.
That's where it came from.
Yes, very much love that dude, and yeah, say hi to him if you're ever at Rennie's. Anyway, Predator versus Wolverine. Holy shit! This book is not getting enough juice.
No, especially I loved
crazy to me.
the art team on the part that took place in the classic X-Men,
Yes.
like Gray Malkin. They called it
What
the
is-
Gray Malkin era or whatever. Like
which I think is a great name. I think it's a great
yeah,
choice.
I liked that. It was a fun comic.
I think like overall, it has been to me. I think this whole comic, the 1 through 4, have been bulletproof. Like just absolutely enjoyable, beautifully drawn, really meticulously scripted, really clever ideas using Predator and Wolverine. Like the
And I like how the
should
art
have
style
done.
reflects the era that it's from.
Yes.
So like it's got like a kind of a Liefeld look for like that era, and then it's got like a kind of Paul Smith look for that era. And yeah, I don't know. It is much better than I would have expected it to be.
Yeah, it's crazy how good that is. I don't know. Whatever. There's another one. This is probably going to be my pick of the week. It's a thing called WRAITH. I don't know. It's just a great comic book.
Yeah, came out of nowhere, really.
Out of nowhere. Who are these people? I would imagine.
I sent a photo of the page with the Herod character to Dan Herod.
Dan Herod.
And he was
Nice.
like, "That's weird. What comic is that?"
That's really funny. Yes, that is 100% the Dan Herod character.
I mean, it had to be. His name is Herod, and he looks like Dan Herod. I was like, there's no way that.
Well, what's
isn't
funny
what that
about
is.
it is that Dabari doesn't know what Herod looks like.
Well, you had to have described him, right?
No.
No.
I said
Interesting.
Hesh. Period. I was like, this is
Okay.
the dude that got kicked out of Dabari got kicked out of the fucking Nickelodeon studios. He was working on Turtles animation and got fired because he wouldn't stop wearing Cannibal Corpse shirts to work. And refused to give an inch on wearing Cannibal Corpse shirts into the Nickelodeon studios, and that was why he got canned. So yeah, I think he knew what a Hesh was when I was like, dude, just do a Hesher.
Yeah.
And he like drew Dan Harrod.
That's funny. Yeah, no, I sent him a picture. I
I
was like,
might
that's...
even have named him after I saw him.
Oh, that would make sense.
I might have. That might have been a revision when I saw the
You saw the
character.
visual
I
and
might
you
have
were
been
I have
like,
to name
"Oh
that
my
guy Dan
god!"
Harrod.
I didn't name him Dan.
Yeah,
Harrod,
no, he's not Dan Harrod, but his name was Harrod,
Yes.
but then he had a different name.
Yes, he decided to change his name because his parents were the devil worshippers. He doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be a part of that.
Anyway, WRAITH is finally here.
Rad Wraith 1 and 2. This is the double feature edition. That is the first 2 issues bound together in a single one. And this is basically just because so much time has passed that, and also the timing of the release of the first one was so terrible. Everything was like in the wrong place. Scout decided that they thought that there was meat on this bone somehow, so they wanted to re-release the issues so that people could pick them up. So here it is. This is the first 2 issues bound together. We have
3 and 4 are going to be regular.
3 and 4 will be regular. I believe they may even be called 2 and 3 because
right. You mentioned
the world is stupid. But people make weird decisions. But 2 and 3 will come out, and those will be different things than you've seen. So if you have seen this comic before, and many of you have, if you're listening to this, there's a good chance that you have been at least kind of guilted into reading this comic by me. There it is. And also, I can't neglect to credit the amazing cover on this particular issue.
I love that.
I mean, yeah, that's our friend Barf Comics, and he's doing such good work, and he also is working on another thing for me as well.
Nice.
I just got the pages back for our special thing that's going to be kickstarting in March, and that's going to be awesome. Of course, I chose to do the one skateboarding character and give it to James. So
nice.
So there you go.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
awesome.
That's really good.
There we go. That's my comic. It's out again. This is, oh my god. Yikes. Check out those fucking abs. Red Sonja.
Oh, yeah.
The Red Sonja workout
This
video.
is apparently, if you're a Red Sonja fan
People
of
love
the
this
modern era, this is the best it's ever been.
Yeah,
That's
people
what I've heard.
fucking love it. Nightmare Country, The Glass House. I am not keeping up with this one.
Well, you know what they say about people who
live in Nightmare Country.
Who
You
read
shouldn't
about
have
glass
glass houses. Scary Monsters.
Super Freaks.
Well, in this case, that is appropriate because we have Scream, Blackula, Scream on the cover.
Yeah.
And what a great portrait of Blackula and oh my god, what's her name? That lady from everything. Coffee.
Pam Grier?
Pam Grier, thank you. Good stuff. And it's got stuff on House of Dark Shadows and all sorts of other weird stuff.
Nice.
Here is Shalub, which is not about Tony Shalhoub.
Schloob. That would be called Schloob.
Sorry, that would be the comic Shloob, which is about Monk.
When I used to work at the other comic store, there was a guy who came in and used to constantly bring up that he thought Tony Shalhoub should be cast as the Joker in the next Batman film.
Whoa.
It was just like his thing.
Huh.
I think Tony Shalhoub would be a good Joker. And,
I don't think he'd be bad.
I don't think he would have been bad.
I think I definitely can see it,
Yeah.
and I think there's
There's teeth to this.
I think so. I think there's a reason to
fan cast.
believe that fan casting would work. I mean that's one of those things where like you can. Any of these kind of iconic characters, like a Batman or a Joker or a Superman, there's a take that I think at this point in history, you could literally take any A-list actor and cast them, and you're going to be good. Like even if you go as far outside as possible, there's a take that would be interesting. Like think about the least likely, like The Rock as the Joker, or like somebody like that. There's a way to do it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's like when you have a big icon like that you can work with that kind of stuff and do something fun with it.
Yeah.
And I could picture Idris Elba as the Joker even. there's an Idris Elba Joker movie that could be made. I mean, and he's about as, I would say that he is probably as far out what you would typecast Idris Elba as from the Joker. Tends to be your stalwart, sane, kind of tough but lovable kind of character.
I could see Idris Elba as that guy Bloodsport from Superman #4, that single issue comic book. I don't know. For some reason, I always just saw that guy as Idris Elba. I think Hollywood really missed it by not.
I think you're right.
Sorry.
I think I could move to Bloodsport, Maine, and have a really nice life there.
Dude, that's a vampire show right there. Bloodsport.
That was when
right next to Bucksport.
If anybody wants to go listen to a terrible metal band that I was in, that was a comedy metal band called Manwich. That in our origin story, we were from Bloodsport, Maine.
Nice. That's really good.
Sensational She-Hulk #3.
It's good. I still don't really like that they have this version of Hulk teaming up with the She-Hulk, but whatever. It's fine.
I understand, but I still love this series, and I like this, and I think
it doesn't really, like, there's like kind of like this new character, and then it's just like, I'm this new character, and then like the next panel it's just like she's like, leave me alone, and then they just like kind of just do.
They do.
Like, okay.
I mean, that is a classic Hulk move to be like, I want attention. Please leave Hulk alone. He just wants to frolic with bunnies. Now I'm going to roll people up in cement from the road and crush them because they wouldn't share their Twinkies with Hulk.
Snacks.
Sorry,
those people are all dead.
Those people are all dead. There's a Twinkie ad with the Hulk where he literally rolls people up in asphalt, and there's no way in hell they are not like just every bone in their body
like
is
a concrete Yule log.
Yes, yeah, like a Swiss roll.
Or a Swiss roll.
There's Slow Burn. It's a comic that's about something.
It is about something. Someone does start a fire of some kind in it.
How fast would you say that burns?
Not terribly fast.
Nice.
What issue is this? 3, 4?
Sure.
Took this long? I don't know. I shouldn't say anything bad about this comic. I don't know anything.
I'm not reading it, so I don't know. I'm just.
It looked like a perfectly cromulent crime comic.
I just don't like crime comics in general, unless they're written by Ed
Brubaker. Apparently, that new Brubaker book that just came out is like the best thing he's done. Yeah, but no, I've heard like this one's like next level. I actually really want to read it.
They're always next level though. I'm always stoked to read those every time I do, and I just never get around to it. By the way, Spider-Woman is out.
Yes.
I think I liked the first issue of this.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty fun.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like part of that crime wave story or whatever it's called.
Yeah, they're really
crime boss roll.
Whatever she's wearing for a bra is really lifting and separating in this particular cover.
Emphasis on the separation.
Yes, we got Dark Droids #5.
Hey, it's the end of this Dark Droids.
Yep, finally Scrooge won.
Yes.
So there you go. The Mandalorian. It's
a DeLorean that is also a man.
It is a mandolin that is also a DeLorean that is driven by a man.
Whoa.
Tales of Suspense, Dreamweaver, and Les Morts.
Yeah. 2 short horror comics.
Yep. There they are.
Yep.
Suspense. And Tenement #7, that is Bone Orchard Tenement #7.
Oh.
Bone.
Is it a bone orchard or is it a tenement?
Who knows?
It's very confusing. You'll have to buy it to find out.
Exactly. Well, we also have Saturday Morning Adventures of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Fun.
Yep. Terror War #8. I don't know why I'm not reading this anymore. I loved it when it was
it's good.
I first started reading it. Timeless from Marvel. If you like to see fists punching fists, there's a lot of fisting.
This was not quite what I was expecting as the future direction of the Marvel Universe. But that's what they are saying.
Hot fisting action in this?
There is definitely hot fisting action in this. Actually, that's not even an exaggeration. There is literally burning
hot fists. Yes,
shit going on. Yeah, it's in the future. There's like I don't know how much to say about it without like I don't want to give it away.
Is it a spoiler to say who's in it?
It's mainly Power Man and Iron Fist.
Okay,
Luke
so
Cage and Danny Rand.
that was the spoiler that I was wondering about.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I don't think
if
that's
you don't
a
think
spoiler.
that Iron Fist is a spoiler, the Moon Knight character is Iron Fist, if that is.
Yes.
So
yes.
And that is the future,
how?
and they're the last people somehow.
No, there's people around. They're not the last people.
But they're the basic like evolution of superpowers. Like the like every superpower has gone into them. And they're the eternal struggle. They're the new Eternals, basically.
Yeah, I guess kind of. Really, it's Luke Cage that has all. He has the power of the Hulk. He has the power of the Sentry. He has the power of Iron Fist, and he has the power of his.
Feels like
own
once
power.
you have the power of the Sentry, everything else is a little superfluous.
I mean, I think the Hulk is the one that you really want because, like, the Hulk is the guy that, like, at the end of time, the Hulk is still sitting there.
That the Sentry can't make it to the end of time, but the Hulk can.
Yeah.
Even though the Sentry is technically the massively more powerful.
It's interesting how the terminology seeps in, because I know there was like a throwaway line in there about when he's talking about how he has the Hulk's blood, and he says like I went through the green door, and then just like that's what you talk about now when you have Hulk power.
That is interesting.
You go through the green door.
The Ewing stuff
then reminds me of that old porno
behind the green
door.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of funny.
It is funny because that porno is hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, it is like, it had an X rating, but it's like barely a porno.
There is way more circus act in that pornography than I have ever seen in anything.
It's like Lady Chatterley's Lover. It's like one of those things where it's like, it has an X rating and you're like, oh, it's got to be terrible. Like when you're a kid, because it's like the one you can't rent. And then you finally get old enough to watch it and you're like, what the fuck? It's a midget running around spying on people fucking, but like you don't see the fucking and just a midget.
So weird.
It's really weird.
Everything about it is so strange.
Yeah. Anyway.
And I definitely remember, well, back when
I shouldn't say midget.
It's a little person, but
sorry.
When Videoport, when I was running Videoport Delivers, which is a thing I did in my 20s, I think I ran Videoport Delivers for. I can't remember how many years, but a few years. And every night, like on our last run, we'd take the movies home. So I'd just have like a stack of movies that I'd have home. And sometimes they would be just like random weird porn. And one of the times it was that. And so I was like, well, I've got to watch this. I mean, this is
The Green Door or Chatter?
No, not Behind the Green Door.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, well, there's a fucking Cramps song about this. I've got to watch this porno. And I was sorely disappointed by the content of that movie. It wasn't even kitschy enough to be enjoyable. It was just terrible.
Well, there was like a point in the history of film, and this is not, I don't want to go too far down the weeds here, but like there was a point in the history of film where mainstream film was almost going to like basically be as much porn as the X-rated films of that time, and that also X-rated films were much more like legitimate than they would be today. Like you would never like see like the content of like what's Brazzers or whatever at like the porn theater. Like it's like that's not what they showed. They showed like pornographic movies, but they were like still movies.
They were still
like they were still like they just,
and a lot of them were like European art films,
right.
Like I Am Curious Yellow and some of that stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that. And then you had like movies like the last Tango in Paris or whatever, like
Last
the
Tango
one
in Paris.
Where like there was basically fucking in it.
Brando butters up
like,
somebody's butthole.
Yeah. And things of that nature. And so then it like basically like kind of built up until like the early 90s when like Verhoeven and all those people were like kind of the big thing, and then their movies started to flop, and then it was just like from that point on it was like there's no sex in movies. There's really no sex in movies. Like it's just you don't see it anymore.
It's very odd. And then somebody decided to release Nymphomaniac because somebody wanted to see Shia LaBeouf having sex. I don't know why they did.
Weird.
But
I don't know anything about that.
It's terrible. I never saw it, but I assume it's terrible. Beast World, the Teen Titans. Did anybody expect to hear a porno film history rant on this podcast today?
Sorry.
Probably not what anyone was expecting out of this podcast.
I don't know why I absorbed that knowledge from my many film podcasts that I listen to, but that's one that I picked up. I was like, it's interesting to me, like how bland fucking modern film is, like when you think about it, compared to like, I mean, I don't know, like I don't think it's great that Brando was like basically like committing sexual assault on film. Like that was really bad too.
But there's everything is weird.
But just like the people, the average American audience's like interest in like actual adult subjects is like just gone. Like it's just not.
And also just the homogenization of all of film is ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway.
But anyway, Teen Titans Beast World. Titans Beast World.
I liked it. It's pretty close to selling out.
How do you feel about these new Teen Titans that they've come out with?
I there was a time where this was like one of the only issues of this entire series that I didn't own, and then you actually gave me a fucked up copy of it like a couple of years ago, and anyway, it was nice to see it. I like this. It was for me like a huge this was like the comic for me, like starting about 2 years into this run was when I first started picking it up.
I'm excited to pick this up.
And I really like Beast World too.
Yeah. I'm excited to pick this up because I've always been afraid every time I get a copy of this in the store, I don't ever want to read it because it's an expensive comic book, and so I don't ever look through it. That would be Frank Miller's Wolverine #1.
Oh, yeah. Man, those Joseph Rubinstein inks, like, it's just so weird.
I don't know. This is a beautiful book.
Yeah.
I really like it.
It's not... You know what I actually just read? I picked up a super cheap... I've been collecting the old... Dark Horse Presents that have Eddie Campbell, Bacchus,
yes,
Jim Bacchus comics.
If only.
And one of the ones I happened to pick up had the third Sin City, and
nice.
Man, that is not that. Does it still sell Sin City? The comic? Do they even put it out anymore?
I think it does sell, but I mean, they do put it out. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't sell the way that it did when the movie was coming out. Certainly.
Yeah, I don't know. I read that like one chapter, and I was like, this guy Marv is like such a loser, and he was like the big like anti-hero for like a long time, and it's just like he's so lame and so problematic. Like it's just.
But I mean, I think, yes, he is lame and problematic, but I think that's kind of the deal, is that I think that's
Do you think people got it?
No.
Because I feel like it was like a Punisher kind of thing where he was like, yeah, this guy's cool. He's kicking ass with his gun that he has a name for.
Do you think people got that Rorschach wasn't the hero of Watchmen? No, they fucking didn't.
No, they didn't. But that was at least done in a way where it was like, if you did pick up on the fact that he wasn't, like, it was written for you to whereas Marv is written as like this badass. Like, I mean, and he's like, so not a badass.
I mean, he is a badass. He's an incredibly complex character because there's so much bad in him as well as
the
good.
One I read where he's like, this is my parole officer, she likes women, but it's just because like I don't understand why, because she's so hot. It's just like so dumb.
Wow, I do not remember that, but I basically remember Yellow Bastard and
I think it did get
Dame to Kill For and a few of
better.
Them. Like I don't remember the early ones, but I do remember them, and I remember certainly when Marv got killed, when Marv went to the chair.
Right.
That was obviously a really classic. I mean, and that was.
Remember the action figure of that?
I do.
It was like you pulled the switch and it was like, rah, ha, ha, ha.
What did he said something clever.
Yeah, but he laughed.
Yeah,
he
was
like ha, ha, ha.
Turn up the juice, you pussy, or something Marv-esque.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yep. Yes, there you go. And speaking of Wolverine, he's very much like that. World Tree, number 33. Guys, nobody's naked in this issue. What are you going to do?
I don't know.
How are you going to jerk it to this World Tree issue? You'll never be able to. I wish that she had been clothed this whole time because this is a well-written comic, and
Yeah, people really like this comic.
I think I think just the fact that they chose to play it that way undermined.
It wouldn't have
the whole
bothered
thing.
me personally if I was more interested in the concept of like people just wantonly murdering people. I've just kind of lost
sure.
my taste
I mean,
for that, so it wouldn't have the nudity wouldn't have bothered me if that was like the comic I wanted to read.
No, not at all. Well, I mean, I loved what was it, Capterra? No. What was the? There was a book out a while ago that was like a 6-issue, and it was just this naked woman floating around because it was her soul. And I was like, okay, this makes sense.
What was that That was the Gila March.
Started with a K, and I can't remember. Carmen, K-A-R. Carmen.
That sounds right.
I think so.
Yeah. It's definitely an art comic.
That was great. But I really like this, and I do agree that it is a little on the juggalo-y side in places where it's just like too much killing for no reason. But there's definitely redeeming qualities, and there is a plot in there underneath all of them.
When I say like it's not for me, it doesn't mean like, oh my god, I think no one should read it. I just like it's just not like I'm just not looking for that.
I get it.
But it clearly is a good comic.
You know what's for me?
What?
X-Force.
Yeah, that's
X-Force
fun.
is the comic for me. This wasn't a particularly exceptional X-Force, but it was good.
Set up. A lot of the X-Men books this month were setups for next month.
This one was not a great issue. Actually, I liked this issue too. Honestly, I don't know. Speaking of my bad taste, maybe that's the wrong thing to say, but Juan Jose Reap, I love him. I love that dude, and I love his art on this book. I think
I like him a lot better when he's not drawing crossed.
I mean, absolutely. But I mean, and also you kind of know when you get Juan Jose Reap on something that something bloody and horrible is about to happen.
Yeah. You want hyper detailed,
like,
super violence.
Something gross is about to go down in this comic, and it doesn't really. But honestly, it took somebody with his ability to do really nuanced art to get across what this comic was saying, because this is setting up some plot points that are a little on the complicated side, especially because you're dealing with I don't want to say multiple timelines. You're dealing with future prophecy, I guess, would be more important to say. Someone seeing the future and like trying to understand what's going on. And so you find out basically it's just setting up the future. This particular title. I like it. I think it's cool. Whatever.
Nice. Yeah. Cool.
And that's it.
What about any mangas or anything?
God, there's a bunch. There's a bunch of stuff out this week, but I don't have time.
I'll try to cover it in the video.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff, but what we'll really say is buy all of the Rad Wraith.
Yes, yeah, definitely buy Rad Wraith, and while you're at it, you could still get Rad Wraith T-shirts.
Yes, you sure can, and you can get Rad Wraith skate decks too.
Oh,
two of them. There's 2 of them.
What?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, do that, and follow us at Actually Comics on Instagram. Buy things from coastcitycomics.com. That will help us out quite a bit.
Yes.
And follow Bob at Dollar Binge.
Yep.
That's it. So thank you for listening, and we will see you next week.
Yep.
Good night.
Bye.
That's